Hello everybody, welcome back. It's Cape Rugby TV. I know you were watching last week Wednesday and tuned again this week to see what we talk about in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. As you know, every Wednesday we feature what's happening in the province, in club rugby circles at the Union, and now we of course have the Stormers with us as well. So the last 15 minutes or so of the show every week we'll take a look at the Stormers off-season training. Well, at least they're off-season at the moment, at least until they become pre-season, and then it's Super Rugby time, and I believe that the first game is mid-February. Let me introduce you to my panel this evening, Jerome Parwater. Welcome, Jerome.
Yeah, JP.
Is jy terug, meneer?
Terug, yeah. It's good to be here again.
Yeah,
Talk about rugby and what's going on, so it's good.
Mr. Danny Jones, nice to have you back, as usual.
Thank you, JP. It's good to be here.
A lot of you guys are still quite busy. The wheels have not stopped. You've got social rugby to support and HSBC7s to support, and you've just come out of an election. There's a lot of admin.
No, definitely, JP. Rugby is 24/7.
Yeah.
365 days of the week. We're quite happy for that because at least it keeps us focused, keeps us busy. We are busy now planning for 2019, as well as looking at improvements within the competition, within club rugby section, within schools, within the referees, and how we can grow the game, both off and on the field. And obviously, some of us are still part of the professional component, like Jerome with the under-21s, and also, you know, myself and my staff that has to be the backroom boys with regard to at Newlands and those things.
All right, we're going to talk about some of those things tonight. I think it's a bit of a new era at Western Province. Every couple of years we have a new era and there's new ideas, and so it's very exciting to talk about that. But of course we want to know what's happening with school rugby, we want to know what's happening with referees rugby, and I think you're the right guy to fill us in. But folks, we were out of the Colby Sevens. We've been telling you about this for the last few weeks. Of course, Score Energy Drinks, as we know, on board with the Colby Sevens. Cheslin Colby, one of the supporters of the tournament. We know that he's playing with the Springboks, or has been away with the Springboks, but nevertheless, it was a fantastic tournament, and you'll know that many people will know that Nicholas Lippi Pedro, of course, passed away not so long ago, was instrumental in starting that tournament, and a lot of funds were raised at this tournament. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. But a number of teams, of course, entered in the competition. I think there were 16 teams in total, and a lot of social teams that made it up, as well as teams from Kuilsriver and Kraaifontein, and Sevens action at Eikendal. A lot of fun. Let's take a look at the first highlights. It was the Kuilsriver side up against the Squirrel Young Boys. Now, the Squirrel Young Boys, for those of you that don't know, the Squirrel Young Boys, well, they started in 2010. They're an old boy organization and out of Somerset West. They're from the Methodist Primary School. They've done a lot of fundraising. They've got together a rugby team. This was their first Sevens team. Let's take a look at the highlights. There we go, folks. It was, of course, the Kales River up against the Squirrel Young Boys. They played in the quarterfinals. The Kales River winning there 24 points to 12. Interesting setup there, Jerome. Of course, Kales River have got an experienced sevens outfit, but the Squirrels, first time playing sevens.
Yeah, JP, I've watched many years ago. I watched the Squirrels. I think Ramon Samuels was still playing at primary school's tournament in Somerset, and the way that guys were playing, like they were playing like senior boys.
Yeah.
They could play rugby, so it's good to see that. They've got the Squirrels old boys going, because a lot of these guys have been together for many years. In the rugby that they've played, and I know that Winston Bart is instrumental in a lot of these boys, like Ramon, Damian Samuels, Mr. Jones was also naming them, many Russ. So quality guys come through Winston Bart and with the Squirrels, and I also know they went to New Zealand a couple of times, because they were when they came back from New Zealand, they were, before games they would do the haka and things. So it's quite interesting in what they did at
it's quite a social setup.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, but it's a school, and where the guys are now and they're still together. It's good to see.
You also seem to know a bit of history of the Squirrels.
No, JP, I must compliment the Squirrels, the school, the Strand Methodist. I mean, there's as Jerome said, there's tremendous boys over the years that has played rugby at the highest level, and obviously. Over the years, we can't deny the valuable work and invaluable work that is done by the school, the principal, the staff members, all of them, and obviously, as Jerome said, Winston Bart, who's the head coach, we in awe of them, because they really, in that area, the school really, they speak about Paul boys and they speak about Chum, and that this school can run with them. Obviously, the primary school, but the boys that come through them that has gone to represent different provinces, I'm amazed. So well done to them.
Well, you of course have a lot of experience there, being from school sport.
Rugby. School rugby. We can't deny that club rugby and schoolboy rugby remains the bedrock of rugby in the world, and more so in Western Province. It's great to see that. So I'm glad to see that there's a Squirrel old boys. If I'm not mistaken, I think one of the late brothers also started there and then went to Bishops and that. But JP, daai kom en daai skool doen baie goed vir rugby.
Well, the Squirrels then of course played against the Gevreesde Young Ones. I'm not sure which school the Gevreesde Young Ones were at.
I think it's their own school.
The Squirrels beating the Gevreesde Young Ones 22-12. And then the Squirrel Old Boys went on to beat Scottsdene 19-0, and they beat Young People 17-12. Kales River on the other side beat Young Believers 26-17, and went on to beat Sakai Kings, and ended up beating the Warriors. All right, time for us to take a look at some of the highlights in the match between Kraaifontein and the Rebels up against the Ubuntu Blitz. We'll take a look at that in a second. But before we do that, remember you can win yourself a case of Score energy drinks. Score was, of course, on board with the Colby Sevens that happened at Aikendale over the weekend. And I think a lot of the teams that participated in the actual Score Western Province Club Rugby Sevens kept their jerseys, or in fact, not maybe 100%, but certainly kept their Sevens rugby spirit flying. For those of you that want to win yourself a case of Score energy drinks, all you need to do is grab your mobile phone and SMS the word SCORE to 33090. 33090, SMS the word SCORE, and you could win yourself a case of Score energy drinks. Congratulations to last week's winner, David Carlser. David, you walk away with a case of Score energy drinks, and somebody from Cape Rugby TV is going to be in touch with you shortly, and enjoy that nice, refreshing Score energy drink. We'll be back after the break with the Kraaifontein Rebels up against the Ubuntu Blitzer. Welcome back, everybody. We're having a lot of fun off air, talking about the Squirrels. We're trying to work out all the history of the Squirrels. What a fascinating story. Maybe Cape Rugby should go out there one day and do a little documentary on the Squirrels. Anyway, we're out at the Colby Sevens, of course, at Aikendale over the weekend. In the quarterfinal, we saw the Kraaifontein Rebels, was their home ground, up against the Ubuntu Blitz. There we go, folks. The Kraaifontein Rebels up against the Ubuntu Blitz. The final score there with the Rebels winning 31-12 over the Ubuntu Blitz. Of course, the Kraaifontein Rebels come from a lot of different clubs in the Kraaifontein area. Clubs like Hands and Hearts and Scottsdene and Kuilsriver and Kraaifontein, Brackenfell, Durban, Elsie's, Tygerberg, St. George's, all making up part of the Kraaifontein Rebels. A lot of fun there. They're coached by Regan Marcus. Now, of course, Regan was on the show with us last week, and we know that Regan, in fact, helped the Western Province Club Rugby score 7s originally by designing the logo. So we see the connection all the way through. Yeah, I think it's absolutely fantastic. And as I mentioned earlier on, Nicholas, we know him as Lippy Pedro, who passed away so sadly about 2 months ago. Him and Cheslin Colby founded this tournament. So absolutely fantastic to have this tournament on the cards. Of course, Boland also paid a visit with their socials team out of Wellington, and that was the Ubuntu Blitz. They come out of Hillcrest and Newtons and Bottreffier and Bonnievale, and a number of clubs there. Lots of under-19s coming through the ranks there. So the Ubuntu Blitz, making sure that the spirit of Ubuntu is upheld, so to speak, seeing Boland come and visit. But yeah, the Kraaifontein Rebels then walking away with a victory over the Ubuntu Blitz in the quarterfinals. Kraaifontein went on to beat the Kraaifontein Spartans. They also scored a big 55-0 result over Elsie's Rivier, and then a 31-12 win over Eagles. And then the Ubuntu Blitzers, they beat NTK, the Langa Homeboys, as well as the Galaxy. Well, they went down to the Galaxy Warriors. But Jerome, looking at it from a sevens perspective here, the teams that have been playing sevens and have been playing together for a while now, they will of course have had the upper hand.
Yeah, they would have. The Kraaifontein Rebels. What's the meaning of a rebel? Isn't it guys who break away?
I think it's a little bit like an invitational. It's not to be a
Is
rebel.
It not a
it's
rebel?
Like, it's like the barbarians.
Oh, okay. It's not. Oh, okay. It's like that.
Yeah.
No. But you can see. I don't know if they were training, but you could see they know each other because of.
You know something? You mentioned that word, and then you might also. About 20 years ago, when I first looked at club rugby, I thought, what are these strange names? You know, when you looked at football, you saw things like Liverpool and Manchester United, and you had Natal, and you had the Free State. These were normal names. And then you came here and you had things like the Young Warriors and Hands and Hearts. We've gotten so used to this, but in the beginning you think these are dangerous darkies. There's all these crazy names that we find, but we're so used to it that it's normal names for us now. There's a whole sort of a history and a story behind club rugby and the culture.
Yes, no, JP, you know, some of these names, I suppose they want to win the game before it starts. So, Kraaifontein Rebels, you know, they play against...
The Western Zebras. I mean, the Western Zebras. We've got...
The Rebels will probably think they shoot the Zebras and those kinds of things. But, JP, just coming back, I need to raise, if you saw that highlight now, that what's disappointing, this is a great tournament and a great initiative, and I want to compliment people, but when you have schoolboys playing with seniors, it is concerning. And I have seen 1 or 2 schoolboys running out there, and I don't think that's good, because we have regulations, SA rugby regulations and Western Province regulations, and we sign off on those things, and we can't have schoolboys playing senior rugby.
So would you say then that it's important for folks that are having social tournaments to always come and knock on the door of the federation to get a full endorsement?
Well, that will be part of the processes going forward.
Yeah.
That if any tournament will be signed off by the union, it will be signed off with our rules, and with SA rugby rules. And as I said, it's unfortunate, but we have to engage on these matters, because we have to take the sour and the sweet together.
It's interesting that you mentioned it because I know that it was just recently that the Minister of Basic Education and SRSA, Sport and Recreation South Africa, signed a memorandum of agreement, making sure that all school sport fall in under a federation, which means that school children, that they would in fact have to come knock on your door.
No, JP, we have protocols in place, and we do have, our schools and clubs are very much aware of the rules and protocols. So, Kraaifontein Rebels, they're obviously not a club, or I'm not sure if it's Kraaifontein Rebels, Kraaifontein Spartans, but they're not a club registered by Western Province. So that does lead to some of the challenges that's in place. But going forward, it will be one of the criteria before we sign off that I think there should be player cards, and
Make it for, yeah.
through that we will be able to manage the process of players from underage players or age grade players not being involved in senior rugby.
Well, I think it's also a good thing from a organizing perspective, because I know that you guys have got a lot of experience in terms of understanding how fields get organized. So why not knock on the federation's door and get a bit of support? Federation, union. I can
100%. 100%.
All right, folks. Well, MChem 24-hour pharmacy is, of course, on board with Cape Rugby TV, as you know. Now, MChem is on the corner of Durban Road and the N1. If you drive down the N1, you're coming into town, you can see this massive, like behind me, that sign behind me, you can see this massive MChem 24-hour sign there. And if you're coming, of course, out of town, it's on the right-hand side. Enormous pharmacy. They've just gone under construction. It is looking absolutely fantastic. There's a big new sign outside. 24 hours free parking. They've got pretty much everything that you need. Not pretty much. They do have everything you need. But what I like about going to MChem is the service. It's a real family environment there. Mr. Malach and Lee and Jill, and I've told you about them on the show before. They will probably swoop on you the minute you walk in the door. And if it's not one of the three of them asking you what you need, then it's one of the customer service staff there. So it really is a fantastic pharmacy. Get out there, and if you've got time to kill, there's a coffee shop upstairs. Make the best egg breakfast. We're going to take an ad break, and when we come back from the break, we'll take a look at what happened in the other quarterfinal match between the Galaxy Warriors, and they played against the Eagles. Welcome back, everybody. Cape Rugby TV, and it's all action still. We don't stop with rugby. We're carrying all the way through the year. We look out for the captain's table, and we'll bring in the captains from the various teams to come and sit around the table here with us. That last year proved to be fantastic. Everybody loved the fact that we had 3 captains in at a time. Teams who quite often don't get to meet each other or see each other, and the 3 captains come around and they talk about how they took each other on and the information from the leagues and how it was during the course of the year. So look out for that. It's great fun. The Western Province Club Rugby Captain's Table. The Galaxy Warriors was up against the Eagles in the quarterfinals at the Colby Sevens. Let's take a look at the highlights. The Galaxy Warriors, otherwise known as the Amazing Galaxy Warriors, 17-15 win for them over the Eagles. Of course, the Galaxy Warriors also come from a number of different teams, SK Warmers and Hamiltons and Rangers and Noordlikkers, and they've been known for their touch rugby skills. And then the Eagles, again, from the Boerland side of things. Also a lot of guys there from Roses and Newtons, and they were started last year. So a fairly new team. Jerome, do you think that the touch rugby skills of the Warriors comes into effect in playing sevens rugby? Do you know anything about touch rugby?
Yeah, I don't know a lot about touch rugby, but speaking to Labib a lot, he helped with the touch rugby. I see he's the coach of the Warriors.
Labib Levy.
Labib Levy,
Right.
is the coach of the Warriors team. But I know touch rugby is a lot about attack, and I know Labib is quite good in coaching defense. But I think the Which team did they play against now?
The Eagles. The Eagles are from the Boland.
Eagles, I just saw them score a couple of tries against them, so I think Labib wouldn't be too happy about that.
The defence was leaking a little bit. You've got to watch your defence on 7.
Yeah.
All right, of course, the HSBC Sevens is coming up here in Cape Town, and you want to talk about defence? Well, pretty sure that the Blitzbokke are going to be wanting to watch their defence. Danny, you guys, of course, on a local level have been quite instrumental in helping set up now for this weekend with the HSBC Sevens being the home province.
No, that's right, JP. We are involved. Many of our staff members are assisting SARU in making the Cape Town Sevens once again the biggest event on the world stage, and we're very proud of the Cape Town Sevens.
I've got to ask you: is everybody phoning you for tickets?
Quite a number. Quite a number of people are phoning me for tickets.
I've just seen on Facebook.
But do you still have, Mr. John?
Folks, please don't SMS for Sevens tickets. They're not up for grabs. We're going to take an ad break, and when we come back from the break, we'll take a look at what happened between Young Peoples and the Zakai Kings in the quarterfinal. Welcome back, folks. You're watching Cape Rugby TV. For those of you that want to find us on social media, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV. All the West Province Club Rugby clips are posted after the show. They're posted on Facebook. They're archived on YouTube. You just do a search for Cape Rugby TV and use the hashtag #WP Club Rugby. If you want to share any of your information, we can find it and we can amplify what it is that you are busy publicizing on your side. That's what we encourage. We encourage you to start your own media streams, but to tag us so that we can take your 100 followers and pass it on to 200,000 followers. Right, let's take a look at what happened with the Young Peoples and the Zakai Kings. The young Zakai, or at least not the young, I nearly said Young Peoples, the Zakai Kings playing against the, well, who exactly was it that they were playing? They were playing against Young Peoples. That's right. So it was Young Peoples against the Zakai Kings. The Young Peoples walking away there 14-10 with a win in the quarterfinal. Of course, the Zakai Kings, mainly from various clubs, but also this time a little bit mixed. Western Province Rugby and Boland Rugby. So clubs like Roses, Abbotsdale, Westbank, Newton, Standards, Franschhoek. Some of the closer clubs, the clubs like Kylam or Peniel Villages and Paarl. So, Danny, obviously we're going to see a bit of progression. Well, we hope to see. We'll see what happens in the future. We're not going to clamp down on this right here now, and we might see some structure come to this in the future. But isn't it nice the linking here of players and the social aspect? Clubs from Western Province playing with against Boland, especially considering how Boland supported during the drought phase.
No, it's good, JP. The social interaction is good, and we encourage that. There's no doubt about it. The question that I will be asked, most probably from Boland, is did these players get permission and those things. So, whilst, as I said, we're happy with the initiative and that there are some grey areas that we need to engage with the club going forward. But looking back, it has lots of advantages, but there's no way that we can hide from the protocols that needs to be there.
Okay, well, we'll be looking forward to finding out more about these protocols. Of course, protocols and rules and regulations are extremely important in any sport. But yes, it was a win there for Young People's, 14-10 over the Kai Kings. The other results then for the Young People's, they went down to Scottsdene. They beat the Gefreesde Young Ones, and then went down to the Squirrel Old Boys, who we saw earlier on. And then the Kai Kings beating the Warras and beating Kales River as well. And then at the end of the quarterfinals, they beat the Young Believers. Right, we of course watched the Kales River team in the semi-final up against the Galaxy Warriors.
Yes, it was great. It was a goeie initiative wat Lippy gehad het. I think everybody came out today in honor of Lippy. Speciaal vir die Galaxy Warriors ouens. We're invitational side that bring guys together. We want to get the community together, especially at times like the end of the year where there's no real rugby going on. Dis 'n great geleentheid vir die ouens uit te kom en te bewys wat hulle kan doen en wat hulle het. Dis baie rough diamonds as ons nou so kan sê wat hier uitgekom het. Yes, nee, dis uitstekend man. Sevens is always a open game. Everybody wants to be there. And on Sevens field, it's not just about the steppers or the strong guys or whatever. You have to come together as a team. En die wenner van daai span gaan uitkom aan die einde van die dag. That's what it is. Ja, nee, ons het vandag eers vir die ouens ontmoet. Ek bedoel Galaxy Warriors is mos nog maar 'n klomp ouens wat bymekaar gesit word uit die clubs uit. But there's a bunch of unbelievably talented guys out there wat vandag vir ons gespeel het. Ek bedoel wat nou al 'n paar toernooie agter die rug gehad het. Maar ouens soos daai net vir hulle, just give them the ball, let them play. En dis waar Galaxy Warriors is. Laat die manne speel.
There we go, folks. The Galaxy Warriors up against Kales River. Kales River walking away 31-14 then. You're watching Cape Rugby TV, and we were out at the Colby Sevens at Aikendal this weekend. Some sevens that was played, certainly for a good cause. Let's take a look at the semi-finals now between Kraaifontein and Young People's. Right then, Kraaifontein Rebels beating Young People's 19 points to 7. Right, we went on to watch the Cup Finals, which was up against Kraaifontein and Rebels in Kuilsriver. But folks, don't forget, Dulux Maitland at number 30, Coburg Road, is of course on board with Cape Rugby TV. And if you need any paint supplies, whether it's for tinting or painting your house or painting your office or painting your business, a construction site, then Dulux Maitland at number 30 Coburg Road has got the solution for you. And as I've told you here before, and I've tried this myself, is when you go out to Dulux Maitland, they will ask you, and in fact they'll come to your premises and check for you. They'll work out how much square meter space you need to paint. And from that, they will calculate exactly how much paint it is that you need for your house. I mean, how often has it been that you've bought yourself some paint and you end up with half a tin and you leave it in the garage and it ends up drying, you've got that drip around it? Why not just finish the entire tin so you can buy and work out exactly how much you need? Imagine how much money you save buying exactly the right quantity. And of course, the service at Dulux Maitland is absolutely impeccable. You walk in there at Dulux Maitland, number 30 Coburg Road, and somebody will be there to help you with all your needs exactly as you. So if you go down number 30 Coburg Road, if you go down Coburg Road, folks, that's the building. There you see it behind me now. The Specialist Paint Centre at number 30 Coburg Road, Dulux Maitland. Let's take a look at what happened between the Kraaifontein Rebels and Kuilsriver in the finals. Of course, a win there for the Kraaifontein Rebels over Kuilsriver, 26-21. Good result there for the Rebels. We managed to speak to Kuilsriver captain Earl Johnson and, of course, to the captain of the Kraaifontein Rebels, John Lee Klaasen. John Lee was one of our very first men of the match here on Cape Rugby TV. Still going strong.
Ja, nee, want fantastisch goeie weer, goeie rugby. Het was regtig wel lekker geweest weer vandaag om op Hensenaarts te wees. Nee, definitief. Ik denk dat is die talent wat ons het hier in die Kaap zelf so. Die ouens van verschillende clubs bij elkaar en van die ouens het nog eens langzaam geoefen nie, maar die talent wat daar is in die ouetjies is brilliant, regtig waar. Volle dag, volle alles. Het was fantastisch geweest. Jy kon baie talent hier kry, jy kon baie sport hier kry, dus was fantastisch. Ja, definitief. Ik denk dat ons ouens het ophou veggie. Ons ouens wou graag die toernooi wen. Ouens wou het regtig hard gewerk en so aan. En ja, BMT het er seker toe op die einde van die dag onder die ding is geskop, maar nevertheless, goeie rugby van die Rebels. Never give up. Dit was seker hulle motto of 'n ding, maar ons het die een keer opgehou veg.
Ja, wat kan ek sê? Het was 'n baie wonderlike dag gewees. Ja, het was heel week was hy hoog op social media. Die Kobe tournament is hier. Ons is defending champions. Ons is in 'n stadium was ons gewees 21-5 agter. En dat het karakter getoon beteken. En die man het karakter gewys. Die man het mooi teruggekom en op die einde die ding kon vat. Ja, so ek sê, ons is in 'n groep. Ons is soos 'n klomp broers by mekaar. Ons bly almal na mekaar, so ons is baie saam mekaar. Ons speel saam touches, ons doen alles saam. As jy 'n probleem het, hy kan na sy maatjie toe gaan en weet hy sy broer sal hom nooit in die rug steekie. Ja, ons is in die begin van die jaar gepraat het. Jy weet nie verlies wat ons gehad het met ons coach Lippie. Dat dit die manne deegedra. Het gehoor die manne kon gesê het, belief, doen dit vir Lippie. Daai man sit daar boy kyk neer op ons, hy's baie trots op ons en die guys het karakter getoon, BMT gewys om dit te kon wen op die einde. Ja, ek dink ons kan uitsien volgende jaar nog 'n groter een. Ek weet nie, ek dink nou ons organisation musiek man nou die ding moet outsource van hoe hy groot is hier, ek weet nie jong. Gaan hier nog plekke volgende jaar van nog mense nie.
Right, there we go, folks. What a great day of Sevens rugby at Aikendale, where it ends up being the Kraaifontein Rebels keeping their own trophy, so to speak. Earl Johnson from Kales River was captain at Kales River. We've interviewed him on a number of occasions, and of course John Lee Klaasen, an absolute legend. Fly-off, Jerome?
Yeah, very good fly-off, and he's been around. He's played in Taizas, he's played in emerging tournaments, so he's been,
Magic hands,
very
steps,
good,
magic hands.
Good kicker.
Mr. Jones, Earl Johnson, former captain at Kales River, has he ever told you that he's going to retire from rugby?
JP Earl promised me he had his last year, and that was last year. And when I got him at the score sevens, he said to me, "Meneer, ek is die coach," and I was very proud of him because I do believe that he'll be a very successful coach. I'm shocked to see Earl on the field. I want to know from his family if he's been medically
Boarded
or whatever. Because I mean, I'm amazed to see Earl. I think he's 40 years old, still playing there with the team.
Earl, what a legend and a gentleman of rugby. Earl, we're always happy to speak to you and always smiling. In fact, Earl, looks like you got a little bit of TV presentation skills rolling out there as well. Might have to bring you onto the panel here, together with Mr. Jerome Parvater, who now has become an MC or an event speaker who is in high demand. Jerome, I believe the crowds are all phoning you and asking you to come and do eventing.
Yeah, JP, I was out last Friday at Makasa's presentation. Guest speaker was very good.
You're speaking or the event?
The event was good, and my speaking is always good.
Jerome, I would listen to you anytime. That's fantastic. You know, this is what we do here at Cape Rugby TV. We bring the best of the best onto the TV show. Speaking about the best of the best, the DHL Stormers are of course busy with their off-season training at the moment. We had them out at Stellenbosch last week where they were busy with their speed training, and this past Monday they went out to Virgin Active, to Greenpoint in Virgin Active, otherwise known as the Point, for some strength training. Let's see what happened. The Stormers out there at Virgin Active, the Point, and Sea Point doing a little bit of strength training, but certainly looks to me like a little bit more conditioning and functional. Jerome, a lot of balance work there, looking at all those bosom balls that the guys got out, and certainly looks like a lot of core training also.
Yeah, JP, this is the right time to do all that after the season. Because guys need to get back, get their balancing right.
Yeah.
And the most important thing is their core.
Yeah.
If your core is strong, you'll get fitter and you'll be stronger. So that's their most focused thing in the gym now, is to work on the core and balancing and like small things that you don't get to
That's one
during
of
the
those things
season.
that a lot of people miss out. I mean, you can bench press 200 kilos. It doesn't mean you're strong.
It doesn't mean. Strange enough, last night, Chapi was talking to a group of club players, and he said, like, you can come into this gym and look like a bodybuilder, but if you're on that field and you're not strong, then that looks doesn't mean anything.
It's interesting, you know, we look at this training, we try and rush the training. There's an old concept of farm strength, boere sterkte. There's no bench pressing involved there. Jy moet daarso die You've got to throw things and lift things and push things and twist things, and you get naturally strong.
Exactly, JP. When I was still coaching at Boland, and McNeil Hendricks was playing for Boland, and he used to work for Bokomo.
Yes.
And they had this bags. I don't know what's in
Meelsakke.
Meelsakke, yeah.
Meelsakke.
That huge bags. He was loading. He was loading. JP. He was loading like hundreds per day.
Yeah.
On the truck, off the truck, and
natural
then
strength.
Yeah, natural. Then he came in, and he looks like this mean machine. He looks like, and but he was natural strong.
Yeah.
And he couldn't do a proper bench press, lifting all these bags. He couldn't do that, but he was naturally strong. So it's exactly what you said. And I played with a guy like with Tommy Loopse, who was farming out in Friedenberg. And he was lifting sheep and the whole day, and that's what you were talking about.
Yeah.
That's a natural strong guys.
But Danny, I mean, this is the kind of exercises. I mean, we sometimes see yoga instructors and Pilates instructors. Sometimes you get a dance teacher out there. Next thing you know, you're sweating.
Definitely, JP. There's a lot of, I mean, as Jerome says, there's a lot of things you can do outside of the gym that people underscores, that actually gets you to what you need to do in the gym. And then obviously it's important to bring in various forms of routines, that it doesn't become routine with the players, but it's something new, so that you can keep them fit and active, you know, active brain, and not where they go and is this again. So you bring in dance, you bring in Pilates, you bring in a number of things with the same focus to get them to improve their core strength, so that the rest of the body can improve.
Right, we managed to speak to Duncan Saul, one of the Stormers squad players.
I think the progress has been very well. Guys put in the hard yards. We keep on grinding and we're pushing ourselves to be excellent, to reach those targets. We set our targets for ourselves, we set our goals and stuff like that. And every week we're trying to get there. It's a process, but we're strongly getting there. It's a good vibe in camp. Like everyone, like I'm still like out at junior and stuff like that, but like I feel really welcome. Like there's nothing like I'm the big guy or I'm the smaller guy. Everyone is so humble. Everyone's like a team. It's a great vibe, team spirit. And I think that is something positive. Then we can take it to the season and maybe hopefully make a success out of it. The momentum is crucial going into like next year in Super Rugby. And like obviously if you're in a good space, then you have to it's a mental game as well. So you have to stay in a positive state of mind. Oh yeah, no, definitely. I think we've been putting in the hard yards so far the preseason. The guys are looking good. We just have to stay positive and just believe that we can do this.
Duncan Saul certainly seems to be enjoying it over at the DHL Stormers, but we've had him on the show before. Let's speak to Daniel Du Plessis, Stormers centre.
Yeah, it's very good to be back. Tough start, obviously the body is a bit stiff and sore after the first few weeks after coming off of a holiday, but nice to be back and training hard with the boys again. Yeah, obviously had a very good Currie Cup campaign, the Western Province team, and a little bit disappointing end. I think we deserved a better outcome for the season that we had, but that's rugby, that's how the game goes, and it was nice to have a week and a half off and refresh the bodies, but good to be back again. Obviously it's obviously good to have continuity going and to have the same guys in the Super Rugby squad again. Obviously we've lost a few players, but that's a story every year. You're not going to have the exact same guys, and you have a lot of Springboks that will come back, and they'll obviously strengthen the squad a lot. For me, I obviously got a few goals. I've struggled a bit with injuries for the last 2-3 years, and for me personally, just to get strong in the gym and get conditioned on the field and stay injury free. Yeah, obviously, like I said, it's a nice bond between the guys here, and the guys are quite close, and it's a lot of guys that play together in the Curry Cup as well, so I'm looking forward to the Super Rugby next year. I'm sure the guys will be ready, and the guys are looking to hopefully play a nice brand of rugby that will bring the supporters to Newlands, and hopefully we can show the people what we have.
Daniel du Plessis, Stormers, DHL Stormers centre, son of former Danny?
Michael du Plessis.
Michael du Plessis. Is it not Karel du Plessis?
No, Karel is Jean-Luc.
Oh, that's right, yes, yeah. But quite a rugby pedigree there.
No, look, his father was, also the mercurial Michael du Plessis fly off and that. And he's come through the ranks, Cravenweek.
Couple of families.
Under 21s is good. There's a lot of families with good pedigrees. The Parwaters too.
Yeah, the Murats.
The Morats.
I think the Murats must surely be South Africa's biggest rugby family.
Look, there's many Morats.
That's my point.
Many Morats. But yes, they've done. Look, yes, I must say in that pedigree, the Nazim and his son, obviously Salman, are showing pure pedigrees there.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
Also a big guy.
Big guy, humble.
Yeah.
He's still, if off the field, you won't know that's Salman. He's really humble, and I wish him well, that if everything goes his way, he would really one day maybe captain the Springboks. But he's putting in the hard yards, and well done to him.
Yeah, he certainly seems like he's got the right composure on the field. He seems to have the right attitude, and I love the fact, and I noticed this when we were at the awards dinner the other night. As he was passing, he said, "Hello, JP." You know, and sometimes we have professional players who forget you. And we remembered Salman when he was a little bit younger. He was still playing Craven Week, and we interviewed him on a number of occasions. Interesting, great to see when the players remember and keep their feet on the ground.
He's still young.
He's still young.
Yes. Well, that's the other thing I think we have is in that we're blessed that some of the players.
But also JP, his mother and his father has taught him well. Both of them are humble. I mean, really humble, and I think it's rubbed off on Salman.
Yeah.
You know, so yes, if you're humble, keep your feet on the ground, train hard, work hard, things will happen for you.
Jerome, it's the HSBC Sevens this weekend. Any teams that you think are going to be the danger squads?
The Blitzbokke.
The Blitzbokke. They'll take the title this year. Danny, on your side?
Blitzbokke.
Blitzbokke all the way, right, folks? The Blitzbokke, of course, playing this weekend at the HSBC Sevens. The whole world will have their eyes on Cape Town this weekend. Very exciting. Love it when the boys are playing, and if you've seen their new jersey, I'm sure that's going to hit the stores quite soon. And so a wrap from us here at Cape Rugby TV. Keep telling us what you're up to so that we can keep covering your club and give exposure for club rugby. Remember the Western Province Club Rugby Captain's Table coming up over the next few weeks. See you again next